good with you going live on YouTube? YouTubers, what they do? How you feel this morning? How's everything going? You might as well come on into the assignment. There's no reason to be left on the outside. You've been you, open invitation. Did you hear me? I say you have an open invitation to come on in and gather around the table. So this time as a chosen one, as we community of other like-minded chosen ones who understand the concept, the narrative, and the ideology. If you understand, there's no reason to explain what's understood. Oh, hey, did you hear me? I said there's no reason to actually explain what's already understood. Did you hear me? I said there's no reason for explanatory input already. And so thank y'all for chiming in with me this morning. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for, tapping into my assignment. I am Kendrick B. Davis, Senior and vocal specialist. Of course, y'all know I'm on assignment, doing my thing, drinking out my collar, closing my eyes, preparing my mind, and my heart. Because even in the midst of our imperfections, and we all know we have it, we all know we possess imperfections. There is no perfect individual in the earth. And so at the same time, we are here as chosen ones, as what I'm saying, an individual that will bring, clarity, understanding, and comprehension. And so at the same time, of course, y'all know I am here. And so no one really talks about, the that ones have. You know what I'm saying? The individual that will come in and you know that you've always been different. I mean, before you even, really understood it, you knew that it was something different about you. So at the same time, you know what I'm saying? What's going on? Why is my life so, some people might call difficult or challenging, or you got a lot of, obstacles that have to hurdle over and things of that nature. Probably even out your mother's womb, you've been this way, like myself. And at the same time, it's a beautiful space to be. And as an individual that you will come into, and if you can't understand and comprehend what's being said, that maybe you're on the wrong channel. Maybe you're on the wrong frequency. Maybe you're in the wrong vibration. Maybe you're in the wrong energy. You can't understand the comprehend, and maybe your frequency is. And at the same time, as a chosen one, it's major limits that happens to individuals that have been chosen and called out. Many are called, but few are chosen. And so as I went through this thing, as I've gone through this thing called life's curriculum, right? Of course, I've been on this earth 58 years. So yours is not going to be mine, and of course, mine is not going to be yours. But as I live through this chosen one experience, I've adapted and agreed to the fact that I've been called from my mother's womb and from my onset metaphor. Then I'm here to let you know that no one really talks about the standards that come with that title. Did you hear me? Say nobody really actually comes to the table to explain the standards that come with the title of being called a chosen one. Just knowing throughout this life. And so one major thing that I must say that at the same time happens to other chosen ones is that we've automatically been set apart. I know that I use it like sanctification. I use the word like I'm sanctified, and then you'll be like thinking, I'm going into the religious sector. But at the same time, in essence, being sanctified just means to be set apart. You can't move, like the crowd. You've always had other things that, prevented you from moving like everybody else. A lot of other people can go with the crowd and just get on in the crowd and be normal crowd, things selected out. You can then go in and be normal. Still become a set apart individual. Not until you actually find yourself being sanctified and set apart. You understand? Use of whatever way. You know what I'm saying? And so at the same time, you can't move like the crowd. Then you notice that at the same time as a chosen one, you don't really have a desire to follow the crowd. Here it is, you are left alone. You normally are left, by yourself because you don't want to move like everybody else is moving. You understand that? You don't like to move like how everybody else is moving. And so at the same time, you find yourself having to be selective. If you hear me, sir, hey, all the chosen ones in earth, come on into the assignment, sir. You might as well come on into the assignment, man. You are this. And you're going to eventually know this as time progresses. And as the community is being built as the individuals that's not like the norm, what some people might call normal. I know I've been an average individual dropped off the top shelf a long time ago. I know for a fact that I fell off the top shelf. At the same time, I don't feel comfortable in large crowds. I don't feel comfortable going with the mindset of the crowd, the mindset of the majority. Because if you think about this for a second, all throughout our lives, we've always been lured out of a certain sector of thought or certain mindset or certain shit that we have to have in order just to be normal in society, socialize in society. And at the same time, you better have to master you. So at the same time, you all things which call you for, give you a spiritual awakening. Say that, hey, look, I'm not proud. Maybe I can hear, maybe you can hear more from me in the solitude of it all. So maybe I'm in serene nature part of path that you might find in nature. You'll find more creative being there. And so at the same time as I'm discovering, and as I move through this life goal, I can say that yeah, maybe sometimes creative all things will set us apart, set individuals apart to be used in the capacity by which he decides. And when you have an intricate destiny, it ain't based on nobody else. It ain't based on no crowd full of folk, or no building full of people saying the same thing or doing the same thing or talking the same way or sitting down the same way, standing up the same way, shouting the same, doing everything the same. Maybe he'll call you forth and come forth and open the laptop. 2022, he said, open the laptop and speak into the mind of the people. I have not told you all the things that I've taken you through all the life. So you be connected to that sink, sir, that you spit in this morning. Hey, ma'am, if you're going to be anything connected to the sink by which you spit in when you brush your teeth and throw that mouthwash to the back of your throat, yeah, you might as well go ahead and be a faucet and not the drain. I said, you might as well go ahead and be a faucet and not drain. Be a faucet. Be a pour. P-O-U-R-E-R. Pour out your spirit into the earth. Since you already know that your time is limited, and as if we are not immortal beings, that you know what I'm saying? We are, you know what I'm saying? You know, time is limited. On this earth, time will be limited. Every individual on the sound of my voice, it will come a birthday and a death day. We already know that. And we already know that the connection between the birthday and that death day is significant. Everything that's symbolic between those two things, your birthday and your death day, is a little dash. Don't fall. And so at the same time, as a chosen one, no one ever talks about the standards that come with that type of being a chosen one. So at the same time that I've discovered as in my own personal um, life is that you have to be set apart. You can't move like the crowd moves because you've been different from your mother's womb. And then at the same time, you can't select and be intentional and then actually be disciplined. You got to be selective, intentional, and disciplined. I said, you got to be selective about who you want to call your friend. Because we already know there's a thin line between that. You gotta be selective with the person that you want to be in a relationship with. Because we already know there's a thin line between love. They'll love you today and hate on you tomorrow. I say they'll love you today and then wish death on you tomorrow. And so at the same time, we have to be selective about the individuals that we let allow in our space, in our life, in our time, in this. And so at the same time, you know what I'm saying? We better be intentional about your selective. Be intentional. Make sure you're intentional about everything you do, about everybody that comes into your presence. Be intentional about hearing what they got to say. Turn on your extra ear of hearing. Turn your extra ear of hearing on, your inner ear. Sometimes your outer ear will fool you. Things that they say sound so good and so sweet to your understanding. At the same time, you can let your guard down and forgot about all the red flags. I said, you'll be to let your guard down and forgot about all the red flags that came with this individual because you wasn't intentional about how you listen to him and include it. So at the same time, you better be disciplined. When you see that this person is not don't have your total 100% best interest at heart, you better have something within your disciplinary action to say, hey, look, we don't go no further than here. We can't go any further than here, man. Hey, sir, we don't go any further. We can't go any further than here based on that fact. And so at the same time, as a chosen one, you already know, you better be sanctified and set apart. You better understand that you can move like the crowd moves. At the same time, you can set apart to go in your narrow way. And at the same time, you better be selective, intentional, and at the same time as I sit here and as I conjure up these thoughts in my own mind, my own body, my own understanding, my own consciousness, my own curriculum, my own energy, my own frequency, my own vibration in the earth that might belong to me. It got nothing to do with nobody else's fingerprint. My fingerprint is symbolic of me. There's no other individual that ever came before me, and there's no other individual after me. And so at the same time with you, sir, there's no other person to do it your way. So you might as well do it the way you do it. There's no anybody else that can do it. Unless they stand outside you and judge you according to how you do it based on the fact that you've been doing it your way since birth, since before before your mothers, before you even came out, you'd already been doing it your way. And so at the same time, chosen, not everything will align with your spirit. I said, as you become deeper into your chosen one perspective, not everything is going to align with your spirit. Not everything in the word will align with your spirit. Certain places that you walk into just don't align anymore. Certain places when you first step foot through the threshold, you feel bad in here just because of who you are, just because of how you walk, just because of your sincerity and your genuine and organicness of your innermost being. You understand. You don't even understand. You understand. You overstand that this environment is no longer conducive for my growth. You better be disciplined enough to go ahead and make moves. Ooh, did you hear me, sir? I'm resting God. I said, you better be disciplined enough to make moves. You know that the environment, the household, even your family's house, even your family member, your significant other, whoever it is, your wife, you already know. You don't even feel the same no more. You don't feel the same anymore in here, man. And so when you are a chosen one, not everything is going to align with your spirit. You better be connected with your innermost spirit, so interwoven with your innermost understanding that you know that if I stay here any more longer than what I have to, it's going to be devastating. If I stayed here in this environment any second longer than what the spirit has been telling me that is no longer aligning with my destiny, my, my determination, I better be making my exit plan right now. Hear what I said, right now. You better be making your exit plan, sir. Amen. You better be making your exit plan. Anyway, y'all know I had to come in here and say that no one really ever talks about the standard that comes with that. Ooh-wee. I said, there's a certain standard that comes with many are called, few are chosen. There's a standard that comes with the chosen ones. I started this whole thing out with chosen ones to live. Did you hear me, sir? I said there's a certain thing that chosen ones to live, certain dilemma that a chosen one have to go, have to acknowledge, have to accept, have to understand. Since I am Kendrick D. Davis Sr., your thought provoking, and since I am, and since this is ministry for your mind, and since you gotta, understand that it might as well be me that has been chosen to say this. You might as well understand I'm here on assignment. I would not be doing this had I not been called and the chosen one. You hear me? So I'm thankful, grateful, and I don't take it for granted. I don't fight. I know y'all ain't seen the whole week last week. I've been traveling all over the country, literally from one coast to the other. Trying to how and my video show y'all